30 victories, including 22 knockouts, with only 2 defeats. From Brooklyn, New York, the former WBO Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Zab Super Judah.
Let's go, gentlemen. All right, this is the WBO Intercontinental Welterweight title fight. We went over the rules in the dressing room. Anything below here will be considered low. Anything below here will be considered low. Are there any questions? Remember, protect yourselves at all times. Good luck.
This is Pineda's 19th year as a professional prize fighter. Can he use any of that experience, much of it against top-class opponents, against a younger, quicker man?
Actually, I think the answer is no.
And Zab Judah steps into the center of the ring and fires a hard jab and a left hand over the top. Another jab as if to say to Rafael Pineda, you don't belong with me now. Your time in this league and in this class is over, and I'm about to demonstrate it in a hurry. Pineda hasn't thrown a punch yet.
The worst thing for an old fighter is a fast fighter, and that's exactly what he's up against.
Pineda throws a jab, finally gets his gloves going. But you're right. Zab has so much speed that it's going to take quite an effort for Pineda to force his will and stay in the fight.
He's going to have to watch out for Zab's straight left, because that's what Zab is connected with him on twice. But, you know, a lot of times the older fighters take their time. They're a little patient coming out, and after they study and analyze a guy, they start coming on. But this is going to be pretty rough for him all the way down the line tonight, because I don't think Zab's going to slow up at all.
Well, but the one thing that could keep him going is that Judah has been vulnerable to good punches on the chin. And Pineda just might try to set some kind of a trap and get something in.
Zab's a good puncher himself. And outside of, I don't know, Costa Zoo, I don't remember him getting hurt too much other than Costa Zoo. And then Zoo caught him with a good shot right on the chin. But other than that, he's been holding up pretty good.
Round one settles into more of a boxing pattern after the first 30 seconds belonged to Judah, who simply came out and out-aggressed Pineda. Now Pineda has begun to fight back effectively, although Judah lands his straight left hand more or less at will so far. Now Pineda gets a glove up and partially blocks it. Since Pineda got the glove up, Judah went to the body, under his elbow. Zab looks very sharp in the first round, Emmanuel.
Yeah, you know, and I think the fact that he's coming off of a good fight about 5 weeks ago means that his stamina and conditioning should be very good. And he won't have to worry about running out of gas as the fight goes on.
Kind of waves at Pineda, come on over. As if he's telling a sparring partner, I want to do a little work in the corner.
He was raised at the Gleason gym, so that's where he spends most of his time. And he said he'd rather be fighting than to go back to the gym all the time because he gets paid for fighting.
If you ask Zab who's the best fighter he's ever seen, he says, no doubt, my father. My father's a legendary gym fighter, a legendary street fighter, and the toughest man in our family. Zab has 6 brothers who also box.
Yeah, but I worked with his dad. He was a kickboxer primarily, more so than a boxer. And I worked in his corner.
Pineda got in a good left hook, his best punch of the first round. And Zab Judah punctuates the first round with a hard left hand to the body of the 38-year-old Rafael Pineda. And in Pineda's corner, our interpreter is Ray Torres.
Pinedita, mira.
Okay, listen, Pineda. Okay, don't let him take the initiative. You be first. Go throw with the right hand. The right hand to the chest.
Want the pace up now, okay? Yo, shift on, shift. Be still, yeah. Let's go.
After Pineda lost his decision to Sweet Pea Whitaker, He took off 4.5 years. His marriage collapsed. He was in a severe depression. He has 5 children now, from 7 to 14 years of age, and pulled himself out of a deep funk.
Now he faces the versatile and talented Zab Judah, who in round 1 landed 22 out of 60 punches, including 18 of 29 power shots. Pineda, much slower start, landed 6 out of 25. Took Pineda about a minute to get himself into the fight.
Yeah, and it seems like he's kind of watching out for that straight left of Zab and coming back with his left jab himself pretty good now.
And you heard the Pineda corner asking for the right hand to the body. He's fired that shot twice already in this round. Now Zab Judah gets in a little left to the body. And another left hand upstairs that backs Pineda off. There's the right hand to the body again.
You know, straight right to the chin, but it's interesting now. Pineda's coming back good, particularly working his left jab effectively. And then setting him up for a straight right hand. Yes.
Yep. Judah's uppercut was blocked. This time he double jabs, but doesn't get in the left hand.
Nope. Pineda's keeping his right hand in a position where he's catching most of the straight lefts is coming from Zab right now.
He blocked that last straight left.
And he's working very effective with his left jab. There it is again.
So what you're seeing is, and this is part of what Larry was talking about earlier, Rafael Pineda knows how to fight. Has a lot of professionalism.
At this point, I've been very impressed thus far the second round because he's jabbing good and then landing the right hands after he sets him up from the jab. Now Pineda lands his jab after landing the left hook to the body.
A little red around the nose of Judah.
Judah trying to force that left hand through the guard.
The most effective punch so far this whole round has been the left jab of Pineda, and he's landing it very effectively. In fact, to me, in my scorecard, he's winning the round.
And the jab is not supposed to be that effective against a southpaw.
No, it isn't. But I've always, one of my favorite punches is a jab against a southpaw and a left hook, because southpaws are always looking for your right hand. And he's jabbing properly, jabbing over the shoulder of Zab instead of shooting from underneath.
So the fight changes complexion in the second round, as what was a show of Zab Judah's physical superiority in the first round becomes more of a chess match in round 2, and the crafty old pro from Colombia has his moments. And now let's go back to referee Jay Nady for the main event instructions in Tarver's dressing room.
If you do knock him down, I'm going to send you to a neutral corner. Stay in that corner until I tell you to come out. If you come out too soon, I'm going to stop the count and gives the down fighter more time to recuperate. Okay. You have any questions? There's no 3 knockdown rule, and if there's a knockdown, I'm going to count all the way to 8, regardless of when you get up or when he gets up.
No standing 8 count?
No, sir. But I will count all the way to 8 before we resume the fight.
Okay.
And before I examine the fighter.
Okay.
All right, then. Good luck. Please obey my commands and have a good, clean fight.
Thank you, sir.
I know you will. Good luck.
Thanks.
It must be one of the quietest days of Antonio Tarver's adult life.
He's been very quiet tonight.
On camera twice tonight, and he's barely mumbled a few words. All business. Total punches in round 2, Judah 14 out of 56. Derby Pineda 16 out of 68, including 11 out of 35 jabs. And as Emmanuel Stewart said, he felt it was the most effective punch in the round, although Harold Letterman gave the second round to Judah again.
It could be that Judah is just not used to getting hit with that jab from a right-handed fighter.
That's very, very surprising, because most right-handed fighters are always trying to get in position to throw straight to the straight right hand. But at this stage right now, what's going on now?
They bumped heads. momentarily bumped heads, and Judah blinked his eye.
Pineda's putting a lot of pressure on Zab right now and systematically breaking him down with that jab.
Zab pumps his jab. Pineda's jab, though not as quick as Judah's, is heavier. And those straight right hands are finding the target. Judah with a good body punch with the left hand. Working under Pineda's right.
Having fought Sweet Pea Whitaker, I don't think Pineda is going to be intimidated by any southpaw he's ever faced.
And we thought Whitaker was the epitome of a very intelligent fighter. Southpaw, he just carried southpaw boxing to another level. And as an amateur, he was a good puncher, more in particular body puncher.
Well, and Zab Judah spent a lot of time in the ring with Whitaker because Whitaker schooled him back when they were when Zab was an amateur, and while Whitaker had turned pro, and then later, after Zab turned pro, he sparred with Pernell Whitaker.
In fact, his reputation was that he was basically a bigger version of Pernell Whitaker with a little bit more punching power than Pernell.
It's tough to be compared to Pernell Whitaker, whose defensive skills were off the board.
Phenomenal, especially the fact he was standing right in front of you. A lot of the southpaws moved around a lot, jab, dance, like Camacho, but he was set right in front of you and beat you.
Yeah, you'd miss Pernell over and over from 6 inches away.
Right, and he could always be in a position to punch back after you missed.
Now Judah managed to land a counter right hand as he backed into the corner there. Pineda's fighting with increasing confidence, and his hands seem to be speeding up just a little bit. This could turn out to be a very good fight if Pineda has the stamina to go down the stretch. Fight scheduled for 12 rounds.
Let's get the mouthpiece. Come on. Listen, Pineda. We're working good. Yeah, we're gonna work real good. The right hand and the uppercut. Don't let him take the play. You play. You go. Let's do this fight.
That's all you do is take a look. You gotta break him down a little bit. He's a veteran, okay? He's a veteran. You ain't gonna get him. Just keep breaking him down. And every time you close, look for your uppercuts. Look to go up the middle. All right, 1, 2, 3. Take your time. Keep working, baby.
Once Pineda took the left hand away from Judah, Judah seems to be having some difficulty in mounting some kind of offense that makes any sense.
You're right, Larry. In fact, the only thing effectively he's been able to do the last round, which his dad was telling him to do this round, is to shoot more right uppercuts now.
If you saw the CompuBox numbers, you saw that Zab Judah was outlanded more than 2-1 by Rafael Pineda in the last round. And Pineda has landed 3 times as many jabs already. And Harold, how do you have it coming into the 4th?
Okay, Jim.
Zab Letterman.
2 rounds to 1. 29-28, Zab Judah. You know, Jim, in round 3, it's like Zab Judah took the round off, and he does that a lot. He'll lay on the ropes and he'll, get very defensive, raise that right shoulder, as a defensive maneuver. But to tell you the truth, I thought Zab was much too quick in the first 2 rounds. Pineda comes back and out-jabs him in the 3rd.
There's Pineda reaching across the top with the jab again. Right hand to the body, left jab upstairs. That's been the Pineda strategy for getting back into the fight. They trade against the ropes. And Pineda makes contact with the left hook upstairs. Judah misses with the uppercut. Hard right hand by Pineda. Right onto the chest, and now Judah moves away, and he's waving the glove at me as if to say, Jim, don't get excited. Obviously, I'm completely in control. Thank you, Zab.
The last time I saw a fighter do that was Floyd Mayweather. He would be...
Does it in just about every fight.
He talks to the broadcast about while he's fighting.
I'll never forget the night when I said, well, that's the 2nd time Mayweather's turned southpaw in the fight, and he turned around and yelled 3rd time. Okay. Corrected.
An interesting thing just happened there. The referee was on one side of Judah, and he hit Pineda with a low blow, thinking that the referee couldn't see it, but the referee saw right through it and warned him.
That's Norm Budden, Nevada referee. We don't see all that much of him. And now there's a timeout as Budden takes Pineda to his corner to rewrap the tape on the left glove. We're at the Mandalay Bay Event Center on the Strip in Las Vegas. This is the last fight prior to the main event. The main event is the rematch of Roy Jones against Antonio Tarver. You saw them fight on November 8th of last year. Extremely close majority decision for Jones. One judge, Jerry Roth, had it even. Two other judges had Jones winning in a fight in which Antonio Tarver was certain that he'd won, and probably 75 or 80% of the fans in the arena thought he had. Judah with an effective right uppercut to Pineda's chin.
You know, Jim, I scored that fight like most people did, a close decision for...
Big left hand by Judah. Two of them to punctuate the round, and one more as the bell sounds, but he missed. Now we'll come back to Larry Merchant's discussion of his scoring of Tarver Jones, because it's an interesting story, Larry, and I do want you to tell it. And here's a look at the two fighters that you'll be watching later on tonight. Roy Jones fighting 6 months after the difficult trial, in his words, of having to come down from the weight at which he fought John Ruiz, try to get rid of all that muscle and fight again as a light heavyweight. Antonio Tarver listened to that argument and said, well, that's just an excuse. And now let's look at the three judges who'll be scoring the fight. Nevada, Las Vegas veterans, all of them. Dwayne Ford, and you can see that he was one of the scorers for Jones's easy win over John Ruiz, as well as one of the scorers for Mosley's unanimous decision win over Oscar De La Hoya. There's Dave Moretti, another veteran. And Jerry Roth, who was the man who scored the first Jones-Tarver fight a draw, and also had Jones beating Ruiz 118 to 110.
As I was saying when the bell so rudely interrupted me, I scored that first fight like most people did, a close decision for Jones. In the moment, it appeared that Jones was squeaking out some close rounds. But when I looked at the fight again recently, I came to the conclusion that Tarver deserved no worse than a draw in that fight.
My side of that story is that I invited 6 people who had been in the arena, all of whom thought that Tarver had won the fight, to come and watch the fight on tape in my living room. And the unanimous question was, where's the fight we watched live in the arena? This is something entirely different. And that goes to the fact that Tarver provided all of the thrills in the fight, the spectacle.
Well, he made the drama because we had never seen Jones take so much punishment and seem so much in jeopardy.
Now let's turn our attention back to Zab Judah in the white trunks with red trim, and Rafael Pineda in the white with blue and gold trim. As they make their way through round 5, and both fighters have had their moments here in the 5th, but Pineda's energy level, Emmanuel, seems to be going up from round to round.
Yes, it is, and Zab right now is trying to lay in the ropes and, I guess, showboat and do his little Mayweather thing or whatever, but in the meantime, the fight is getting close. When it started off, I thought it was going to be a one-sided fight and possibly an early knockout, but it's turned out to be a very competitive fight now.
Yeah, in the first minute of the first round, it just didn't look as though Pineda was going to be able to stay on the same page with Judah's quickness and speed.
But one thing he did, like a lot of good experienced fighters, he took away the main weapon of Judah. That was the straight left. And once he neutralized that, it became a competitive fight.
And he did it simply by positioning his right glove in front of his face?
That's it. And that's why Marquez, I think, if he fights Pacquiao in a rematch, Pacquiao's going to have to change and do a little bit different.
Which may be a problem for Pacquiao, a rhythm fighter who tends to do the same thing over and over and over.
Yes.
Touch him, Sam! There you go!
Box referee Norm Budden doesn't warn on low blows if they have no effect whatsoever. If they're just taps, he lets them go.
Stop! Time.
And now once again, Pineda's going to have to have a glove wrap.
And that's why in some states like in New Jersey they use the duct tape, the gray tape, which is waterproof, which doesn't come loose. In California they use the same thing on his red.
If you're the corner man for a 38-year-old fighter, you probably want some loose tape so that he gets a rest in the middle of the ground every once in a while, right?
Yep.
Pineda lands a little left hook after Judah overcommitted with his own left.
Yep. Pineda's fighting him back. And it's really, to me, kind of bad to see a young fighter like Judah trying to fight in the ropes. That's something for old fighters where you don't have good legs. Young fighters should fight in the center of the ring.
Here we have a medley of jabs from Pineda over that right shoulder of Whitaker. Pineda is a taller fighter, and Whitaker just can't seem to get away from it.
Freudian slip. Spells. This is Judah, not Whitaker.
Sorry.
If it were Whitaker, he wouldn't land the jab that easily.
You got him. Finish him. We got to get him now. You can knock him out.
Look how even the CompuBox numbers are now.
Very competitive match.
Pineda's corner talking knockout. Sixth round of a scheduled 12. And again, the fight narrows on Harold Letterman's scorecard. Judah standing in the corner and allowing Pineda to take his time and target shots to the body.
You notice Pineda's taking his time, taking his punches effectively, not throwing a big volley of punches which were timed out. He's placing his punches very effectively. That's from experience.
You explain what Judah's trying to do here.
Well, I think he's going to kind of show that he can lay in the ropes and do all kind of tricks, probably, which he probably does in the gym a lot with sparring partners. But I think it's a mistake.
He should be using his greater energy to steadily outpunch Rafael Pineda, right?
No, because Pineda is an older fighter. And it's interesting, Zab is not using his legs at all, which is a big factor when you fight an older fighter. But he's not jabbing and dancing and moving around. For the most part, he's fighting.
And he's fighting in spurts and flurries, which gives Pineda a chance to get rest within the rounds and fight in spurts and flurries himself.
The first thing that goes on the fight is his legs. Right now, that's not really a factor because Zab is not even using much footwork at all.
Here comes Pineda walking Zab Judah down, trying to back him into a corner. This time, Zab steps away.
Come on, work out of there. Get back. Up.
If a fighter isn't used to coming back in 4 or 5 weeks, Manuel, could this be hurting his energy?
No, I don't think that. I think it's just the style of Pineda's a very smart fighter. He's giving him problems. I don't think if he'd have stayed off about 3 months, it would have been any different. Pineda's surprisingly very, very smart.
Keep him up.
Well, you must know something if you've been fighting for 19 years.
Yeah, but I thought the layoff and the momentum and everything that Zab has would give him a good advantage, and he would have probably scored a knockout by now.
Did you see Pineda when he was a young, rising, lightweight prospect, Emmanuel?
No, I never noticed him.
He was something.
Keep him up. That's 2.
He's fighting a very, very smart fight, considering that his skills are probably corroded comparatively, and his speed and everything is slowed down, but he's fighting a very smart fight. And in fact, this fight, in my mind, is pretty much close to being a draw right now at this stage.
Which looked impossible in round 1. Judah came out strafing Pineda with all those left hands. Let's go to Roy Jones's dressing room and listen to some more pre-fight prep. And there is Jones warming up and preparing himself for movement in the fight tonight after having been stationary against the ropes so much of the time in the fight last November. Jones's trainer, Alton Merkerson, and you can see the experience in title fights. The 3 losses, one of them was with Jones to Montel Griffin by disqualification, and the other 2 title fight losses would have been with either Gaynor or Cole, because, of course, Roy Jones has 1 loss in his entire career. And there's Tarver's trainer, Buddy McGirt, who's gotten a lot of run the last couple of years as one of the hottest trainers in the sport. Tarver, Gaddy, Casamayor. Buddy McGirt says that he cannot watch the first fight between Tarver and Jones because Tarver had an opportunity which he did not completely capitalize upon. Round 6, Judah only threw 37 punches, and Pineda threw twice as many. Which of these fighters is 38 years old?
I'm really surprised right now.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Hey, Jim. I tell you, I got it 4 rounds to 2. 58-56 Zab Judah. But I got to tell you something, he's making this fight very, very tough when he should be winning this fight very, very easy. You know, Jim, I mean, just laying around like he's doing right now, declining go out, that is costing him rounds, which he shouldn't lose. But anyway, be as it may, I still think he's landing the sharper shots, and he's winning closely.
I have it even 3 rounds apiece.
Hard right hand over the top by Pineda. Larry, Zab Judah, in the eyes of many, didn't lose all that much by moving up and challenging Corey Spinks and losing for the welterweight championship. He's still more prominent as a 140-pound fighter. What would it do to his career to incur a surprise loss to a fighter like Pineda here?
Well, he would have to admit to himself that there's one less great fighter on the planet than he thinks there is.
There are 2 good hard left hands by Judah, and now he seems more motivated again as he fires to the body of Rafael Pineda. Good combination upstairs. Caught Pineda with the left hand, down he goes. And now referee Norm Budden is saying it was not a knockdown. And Judah's saying, how much harder do I have to hit him to get a knockdown?
I thought it was instigated by a punch.
I guess Judah got tired of hearing us say that he wasn't fighting well.
Well, that's a knockdown.
Hey! Go.
It's a speed festival for Judah now as he's flashing his greater speed and landing hard punches, almost as if he was just fooling around and practicing those last few rounds.
Yeah, but he's landed some good shots here. That right hook also in addition to the straight left hand.
Don't hold. Don't hold. Hey.
Pineda's just holding on and trying to survive this round.
Experience.
As Pineda can survive this round, he may find Judah a little tighter in the next one. Judah took his shot at knocking Pineda out in the 7th, and maybe he'll have to go back to work on it in the 8th. There's the one that was ruled to push, Larry.
Yeah, there was a punch there, and Pineda was coming in and trying to hold on, and Judah threw him down. But that was a clean punch. And Pineda just went down and took a count.
Now here's another angle at the one which was ruled a legitimate knockdown. So huge round for Judah in the 7th. Remember, we're scheduled for 12. Zab Judah landed 24 out of 36 power punches there in the 7th round.
Seconds down.
See how much energy he has left now for the 8th. Pineda comes out and tries to get some leather on Judah early to back him off. Remind him that he's still in a boxing match. And Judah doesn't appear for the moment to have the kind of blazing energy with which he fought the 7th.
Well, he feels he's got control over the fight now, so he's just going to fight in spots whenever he takes his time, picks his punches.
Why not go ahead and try to seal the deal again?
Well, there's a little showmanship in it if he wants to demonstrate it.
I'm trying to figure out what that so-called showmanship has ever won for him. It certainly hasn't won him a big following. Maybe it makes him feel good in the ring, shows some domination, but I'm not sure it's ever been very much use to him. He ought to watch his pal Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't have to do that stuff and is just an outstanding boxer and prize fighter.
We'll get to watch him next week in Atlantic City against DeMarcus Corley. Just resting this round, Emmanuel?
Yeah, that's all they're doing. He's taking a rest. He feels he's got control over it. And, you know, and Pineda's punches are so weak now, they're not even a threat to him. So he's just taking a round off for the most part. He'll probably explode the next round all over again.
Zab missing wild with the right hand. Looking away, not looking at Pineda. Trying to decoy him.
I mean, does he really think that that kind of stuff is going to do anything to a veteran like this?
Probably. He probably does think so, yes.
He's taking a round off that he's lost, really. And if he doesn't do a lot, his fight could still end up being a very close fight going down the stretch if he doesn't knock Pineda out because of these type of situations, sure.
Now this is a heck of a round for Pineda, coming off a tough
and actually
round.
what I thought was 2 knockdowns, really, even though one was only scored, and it wins the next round.
Kick it off. Breathe. I want you to be. I want you now. I want you to go back out there, look. Suck up a big fight. Now I want you to look. When you get this kid, when you get him ready, I want you to let him go. Let him go on him again, okay? He's right. You're in the trenches. You don't get it back out of him. Just stay right there. Big. Just shift. Every time you shift, you're gonna lose him. Okay, baby? Come on. Let's go. Yo, listen, Zach. Stay focused. He is more tight. He's dead. He got nothing. Son. All right, you gotta.
Give it all you got. Give it all you got. You have. He's dying. You got it. You're the champion. You won the last round. Hit him in the body and the top.
You know, it says a lot about Pineda that he came back from that knockdown and that bad round, because fighters, when they get to this stage of their careers, they very often will stay competitive until they're hurt. And then they just say, what do I need this anymore for?
Well, the clue was yesterday in our meeting with him when he said, you know, I think there's a lot left in the envelope. I still think I can prove something at this stage of my career. And obviously, he wasn't just whistling in the dark. He believes it.
I've been impressed with his performance tonight. He's come back after losing a round as big as heavyweight and won the next round, and is in the process of winning this round up until this point.
You know, in his day, I think he probably was a better fighter than Zab Judah is in his day right now. This may no longer be his day, Pineda, but he is giving a very good account of himself here.
He had a lot of skills early on and was a hard puncher for a lightweight. Pineda's forehead shows some swelling from the hard shots that Judah has landed.
Seemed like he hurt Pineda with one of those body punches.
The right to the temple might have hurt a little bit too.
Yeah.
Good hard body shot there by Zab Judah.
Get off his foot.
Pineda's punches just doesn't have any power on him at all in his snout.
And Zab Judah has decided to go a little bit harder and more concertedly to the body in the last couple of rounds, and that may be part of the reason why Pineda's punches are losing snap.
Yeah, because I think plus that fatigue, age. But regardless, the rounds are being scored close again.
Ready? Let's go.
Look at the rally by Rafael Pineda. Desire and commitment from a 38-year-old fighter who at one point was out of the ring for 4 years. We're still waiting for the main event. Next fight on the card, Antonio Tarver's chance to regain the light heavyweight championship of the world, which was taken from him by Roy Jones last November 8th in Jones's close and controversial majority decision win over Tarver in that fight. Antonio Tarver determined to take back the title that he believes is rightfully his. There's Jay Nady, the referee for the main event. There are a couple of amazing things about Nady. Point one, I can't believe he's 63 years old. The vitality of the man is extraordinary for that age. Point two, he's probably as good a referee as you can get when you got big heavyweights in there, because he's big enough and strong enough to wrestle with them, and in some cases even to throw them around. And of course you saw that he refereed Roy Jones's victory over John Ruiz last year. Ruiz and his manager Norman Stone were furious, thinking that Nady had prevented their man from doing what he wanted to do. Nady said, "I'm not going to let you hold." Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 10 between Judah and Pineda?
Okay, Jim. 6 rounds to 3, 87-83, Zab Judah. You got to give him an extra point in round 7 for the one knockdown. I'll tell you something, Jim. On the knockdown that Norm Budden said wasn't a knockdown, Rafael Pineda actually tried to kick Zab Judah. Not that the White Budden didn't say something about it. But be as it may, Zab Judah seems to be losing rounds that he just loses by clowning around. Pineda fighting a good fight, 87-83, Judah.
I have it closer than that. And I think Pineda, it's still possible to win the fight if he can win these last rounds.
Well, in the last round, for instance, Pineda by CompuBox numbers threw 70 shots, Judah only 49. But Pineda's punches weren't nearly as hard as Zab's, probably one of the reasons why Harold Letterman gave the round to Zab Judah instead. There's Pineda sticking the jab, resolutely trying to keep scoring in the fight.
Another factor here, and I don't know how this will enter into the scoring, is that Pineda's been the aggressor for most of the fight.
He's been the aggressor. You know, in Nevada here, particularly, they don't really like showboating at all too much. They're very much against that here, and that could be another factor. That a lot of the rounds that maybe Harold is given to Zab may not be going to Zab by the Nevada officials.
Are you saying Harold likes showboating?
You know, I thought when Pernell Whitaker fought Oscar De La Hoya, I thought the last 3 rounds, which were very crucial, were given to Oscar simply because of the fact that Pernell was showboating a little bit.
Yes, and Oscar was going forward and chasing the fight.
Yes, even though he wasn't landing many punches, here they always give the rounds to the guy who's really working the most and the hardest.
And one of the arguments in favor of Felix Trinidad beating Oscar De La Hoya in their fight was that if De La Hoya deserved the decision against Whitaker for chasing the fight in the late rounds, that's what Trinidad did against him.
Yeah, the same thing works all the time here in Nevada. They go for whoever's the most serious and who works hard the last rounds in particular.
So you think Pineda may be getting more of a break on the scorecards here than Harold Letterman has given him so far?
Yeah, if he doesn't get knocked out or get knocked out again, this could be a very close fight. Because he's actually outworking Zab. I mean, it's not even any comparison.
Yeah, I think he's making Judah look bad even if Judah wins the fight, simply because he's a good professional prize fighter who's just outworking a fighter 12 years his junior.
Not punch. Go kidney punch.
Maybe Zab penalized himself a little bit by looking so good in the first minute and a half of the fight. Makes everything since then look somewhat disappointing.
Outside of that round and the round when he scored the knockdown, he hasn't been that effective to me or impressive.
We're between rounds 10 and 11 here, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the evolution of Roy Jones's body. 1992 as a middleweight, March 2003 when he fought John Ruiz, November 2003. Larry Merchant?
Well, I think one of the things that points up is that Jones probably was at his best, like most fighters who've moved up in weight, when he was at his lower weight. He was, at that time, his legs and his fists would fly like angry bees. He is much more of a stalking, counter-punching kind of a fighter now.
In the corner.
Round 10 CompuBox numbers. Zab Judah only threw 23 punches. Pineda threw 64. Not hard to tell who was the harder working fighter in that round.
I know I have this fight even after 9 rounds. The knockdown by Judah makes it even.
One more question about the Jones body. Emmanuel Stewart. Roy says that to have taken his body down from heavyweight to light heavyweight for last year's fight against Tarver was excruciating because he was all muscle. This time, he sat around for 6 weeks, he says, and allowed all that muscle to go to fat. Right thing to do, Emmanuel?
No. I think what he did the first time was very difficult because he said he mainly tried to lose weight by just running and starving. And this time he's changing his diet, doing things slowly. I think that's made a big
more scientific approach.
Much. And then certain things that you lose when you're doing a lot of excessive sweating, such as potassium and magnesium. He's been taking those nutrient supplements and things and nutrients to keep his body balanced out.
I'm just starting to wonder here if Judah is tired.
Yes.
Moving away, not throwing many punches.
Which might indicate that Zab took for granted that coming back and fighting 5 weeks after his fight against Spinks, he would of course be in shape if he only stayed in the gym and did some work, and maybe that isn't quite enough.
Yeah, and this is a good workmanlike performance by Pineda, even though he doesn't have the punching power to snap anymore, but he's consistently applying pressure. And he's neutralized Zab's best asset, which was the straight left. Zab is not boxing at all, using his jab, just mainly waiting to just throw a flurry of punches, and other than that, letting Pineda win the fight.
Well, we talked about how difficult it is for most conventional style fighters to land jabs against southpaws, and how Pineda has defied that norm here tonight. By CompuBox numbers, Pineda's landed close to 80 jabs in the bout, and that's the largest number with which Zab Judah's ever been hit in a fight. Not overwhelmingly surprising, given that most conventional fighters barely try it.
I agree with you, Larry. Even though Zab may win this fight, it's not really an impressive performance, regardless of what the final outcome is. He spent a lot of time shucking and jiving, landing the ropes, trying to communicate more with the audience, and not really focusing on the fight. And as a result, the fight is becoming extremely close.
The second round in a row in which Judah has just laid back and hardly thrown anything and just trying to survive the rounds, it seems to me.
And this guy's putting words. When he fought Corey Spinks, it was more of a boxing technical match, but this guy's steadily putting pressure on him all the time.
I've got Pineda ahead in this fight.
Well, it would be a stunning stunning upset if that, in fact, took place. And he got Pineda ahead despite the fact he was
Okay, this is the last round now. We gotta knock him out. If you don't knock him out, we're gonna lose it. We gotta at least knock him down.
Tricks. Yo, when you had 30 seconds close, step to him and run him. Keep your hands on. Yo, you had what?
Last round, once you touch gloves.
Listen to me. Do what you gotta do. Don't give him nothing. Don't give him nothing. Stay strong. You hear me?
Okay, just throw everything you got in the 3 minutes. Throw everything. We gotta knock him out. Don't hold but nothing.
Let me pull back for a moment. I have to fight even. I just recounted my rounds here. I've got Pineda ahead 6 rounds to 5 with Judah having a 2-point round.
All right, Emmanuel Stewart's going to leave us and go back upstairs now to join our host, James Brown. So, Larry, it's just you and me here for the 12th round. In the last 3 rounds, by CompuBox numbers, rounds 9, 10, and 11, Pineda has landed 57 punches. According to CompuBox, only 29 for Judah. And now Pineda is forcing the action and making the fight in the 12th as well. Judah laughing.
Well, I'm glad he's finding this funny. Or amusing.
Obviously, he feels secure. And Pineda's corner was telling him he needed a knockout. I'm not sure Rafael truly believes that he needs a knockout to have a shot in the fight. He's not fighting as though he's desperate for it.
Well, they may feel that this is a Judah in a kind of a hometown fight and trying to make him win convincingly.
Zab checked the clock. See how much time is left in the round. Judah may want to mount one more big offensive rally here just to be sure. But so far, the 12th round has found Judah on the defensive. Now there's a big left hand. Judah moving his feet to get going, and now he hits Pineda with a big left cross. Hard right hand inside by Judah. Once again, he begins to deliver accurate punches in combination.
Watch your heads.
Only a few times in the fight it's happened. When it does, you wonder why he doesn't do it all the time. Now Judah goes to a conventional stance momentarily. Back to the southpaw stance.
Judah may have a cramp in his leg, but he's only got to go another 10 seconds.
Rubbing the back of his right calf. That's the second time he's been down there. Shaking the leg. Clearly he does have a cramp of some sort. Not too cramped to try to get off one more big left hand shot. And that's the end of the fight.
Well, I'm going to score the fight a draw. My heart says I should give it to Pineda because he just outworked, out-hustled a younger guy. Certainly, he can go home tonight feeling proud of himself. Judah got in some work, but maybe this is a roadblock he threw up himself in front of himself for his career.
Harold, how do you have it?
7 rounds to 5, 115, 112, Zab Judah. Jim, I got to tell you, he clowned away 5 rounds, and that's all there is to it. I don't think Pineda was that great of a fighter. I think it's the fact that Zab Judah just takes rounds off for some crazy reason, which I'll never understand. But be as it may, he did enough to win. I had it 7-5 Judah, and you got to give him 1 extra point for the knockdown, so he wins 115-112 by 3 points.
This is one of those fights when you judge it I don't mind losing it. I don't mind being wrong.
Well, let's see. The three judges who will score the bout are Dick Houck, 58 years old from Nevada. And here is Patricia Morse-Jarman, her dossier. And she was the one who, somewhat curiously, had Fernando Vargas ahead of Oscar De La Hoya through 10 rounds. Prior to De La Hoya's 11th round KO of Vargas. This was the more conventional score, or so it seemed at the time, Paul Smith, who had De La Hoya ahead of Vargas through 10 prior to that knockout September 14, 2002. Totaling up the scorecards of Houck, Jarman, Morse, and Smith. And now Michael Buffer is ready for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards here at the Mandalay Bay. Paul Smith scores this bout 115 to 112 for Pineda. Patricia Jarman scores it 115 to 112 for Judah. And Dick Houck scores it 114 to 113 to the winner by split decision, Zab Super Judah.
I think he got that decision because he's the familiar name and face around here. I don't think he won the fight.
He wins the fight, in effect, by a point.
Yeah.
In a fight in which Judah was such a prohibitive favorite, you'd have been hard-pressed to place a bet on it. Final CompuBox numbers on a night on which Zab Judah, as you heard Harold Letterman say, clowned away 5 rounds. And Pineda landed 42 punches more and threw 199 more. That's overall punching. Pineda, remember, landed more jabs against Zab Judah than have ever been landed against this particular southpaw fighter in a fight. Pineda 81 out of 276. And Zab Judah threw his jab 209 times, but used it more as a rangefinder.
Yeah, he turned him into Jab Judah.
Let's go up to Jab Brown.